Where was I when I had training day? I think I was at college.
I was outside.
I was young, like secondary school times, yeah.
But you know, I was going on an 013, loads of horrible stuff. So yeah, it brings back memories, definitely. Brings back a lot of memories, man.
I think my initial reaction was just like, I was just kind of blown away.
When I first heard him, I'd never heard anyone sound like him. Even the fact that heavy vocabulary that he has, but he'll just make it lazy at one point and say the same bar twice. I never heard anything like that, so yeah.
It was just cold, innit? And I thought it was just weird just seeing someone from, at that time, not being from South or North London. I feel like at that moment in life, a lot of rap stars that I was listening to were either from South, North, or East London-ish, but you know I'm trying to say a specific part of East, but Potter brought a new energy, man. And he didn't even look like someone that rapped while he rapped.
A lot of the G's that knew about the street shit, we'd all have our little gossip time, our little talk time and break time and that, you know what I'm saying? Man just preying what's going on, you get me? And Potter's thing at that time was what us lot were looking up to, you get me?
That's when I was like up and down, you know. And I used to listen to some of the freestyles and that as well, and the songs religiously.
I was like, looking at this guy thinking, who is this guy with these glasses on, just rapping like cruddy, but he's talking his stuff.
He was very important, especially for me as well. I used to live in Barking, and just to know that someone was coming from Barking that sounded like that, like I was so much of a fan straight away.
Obviously behind the sunglasses, man wore glasses innit, so I'm not gonna lie, Potter touched me on a personal level innit, because it's like raw. He's this bad boy that wears specs.
He was just an intriguing person, innit? You're looking at him and you're just thinking like, he's my man.
And I was just blown away by it. I was like, bro, I was like, never judge a book by its cover. I remember I was in college, and I remember every lunchtime I would just be playing the rhythm, playing everything. Remember, I stumbled across this freestyle with KB. I said, this guy is, I've never seen anything like it.
So basically, popping and hustling, purely based on the instrumentals. I feel like there's some beats that you hear that kind of take you back to a specific time. The tone of his voice is very unique. I feel like he's actually one of one. Because there's a lot of artists out there, but you can easily mimic the style. You can't mimic Potter's, it's weird. If that makes sense, you can't mimic his style because you really have to live his life to kind of even sound like him. Conversations with the Fiend will always be like my #1 tune. Only because when you look at just the structure of that record, it's a short song, like a minute and some change. But he's talking from the perspective of dealing with fiends. And again, I've heard rappers talk about trapping. I've heard rappers talking about whatever, you know what I'm saying, or these topics. But never from like the perspective or the way Potter did in that tune, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know what it's called. It's either called Too Much Years or Mad Years. I think I don't know if that's both song titles, but it's one of them two. But I know the lyrics for it.
My favourite song, the whole mixtape's my favourite song. See, for the purposes of today, like today I'm feeling Superman the most. I just feel like for where he was at in life and like the meaning of even like how the instrumentation sounds in that song and like the things that he's saying on that song, you can just feel that hunger, you know what I mean? I just feel like he wasn't meant to do anything else in life but rap.
I really liked Ghetto Karaoke, and Conversations with the Fiend as well was very relatable.
Outro and Mover will always have me in my friendship group still. One day it's like the Holy Commandment, fam.
I rank it second.
Which is the first? And that?
Train Day 2 for me.
Me too.
Train Day 2, man.
Okay.
Carpe Diem, My Generation, Hard, Pause.
Quality wise, probably, because I liked more songs on there as a whole, and obviously that's more up to date, it's probably 3. Then I'll go on 1, then 2.
I'll put it 2 in the trilogy. Because I think, you know why? Because I think, you see when Potter came with Training Day 3, that's the most recent Training Day, and I feel like when he dropped Training Day 3, it was at a time where he had done a bird, he's come out of jail, he's rapping from a different perspective that shows growth from the other 2 projects, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying?
Second, because I feel that Training Day 3 is very important in terms of the comeback story and what it achieved. right? This is a new generation. This is a fresh challenge. You're not the new kid on the block. You're not box fresh anymore. People, like, we've heard people from 6, 7 and so on and so forth rate you, but can you come out and really show people that you're that guy? And he did that.
No, I actually put 1, then 2, then 3. It's so fucked. Only because how much I know it touched me as a youth, man. But like, lyrically, I know he progressed as he went along. But for me, innit?
Like 1, 2 or 3. And I gotta say 3 because it gets better as time goes on in a weird way. Obviously 1's the class that everyone knows, but I'm looking at it from sonically. What I like about 1 is that it takes me back to where I was in life at that moment. And the rawness of everything, using American beats here and there, just the grittiness of everything. Whereas bringing it to 3 now, it's that growth, and I appreciate it. And musically, it hasn't even dropped.
On me, they had the influence like, yeah, I need this guy on my channel all the time. Let's do this. That was the influence on me.
But back then, I just liked it, bro, man. Back then, every time you got a breath of fresh air, you were happy, you welcomed it, you know what I mean? So for instance, when people like Squeaks broke through, every time an artist kind of broke through, it gave everyone that little fresh breather again. Yeah, and then Potter brought that through. Remember, there's a few artists, obviously, around that time would have been, obviously Rattling brought it way through, Squeaks brought it way through, obviously the whole Benny Banks, Joe Black movement was popping off as well. Then Potter came through, obviously at the time, the ill-made guys as well, that was a mad movement in itself. So there's just been so many different areas, and obviously Potter's just one of them, and he's actually, while you gotta give him praises, he's actually, yeah, he was there from that moment there and is still here, bigger than ever.
I related with a lot of his music, personally, on a personal level. His rhymes are impeccable, his storytelling's impeccable. So yeah, of course, you know, man will get inspired. If man say they don't, then they're just haters, innit?
I never really spoke this out loud still, but it just gave man more confidence in myself as a person. That's real, innit? You get me? Back then, there was a lot of stereotype with a youth with glasses, innit? Like, I used to think, who's this youth that's talking all this crowd? I'm saying, but you know when you can hear a voice, you can feel it. You know what I mean? Until man saw the person, it's like, rah. It's like me, fam.
I think it just made a big impact in terms of like the way Potter stood out in terms of his individuality and his story.
Yeah, I think like even like in my early days of like rapping and that, I'd say it had an influence on my music as well. Like to be more honest and just like in that lane. I don't really think there's anyone that's really doing it much better than Potter, isn't it? So definitely yes.
I feel like that project gave a lot more people hope. Basically changed, when someone drops a project like that, it puts all the other artists on the A game as well.
I wouldn't say it changed the game per se. I wouldn't say that exactly, but I would say that I made other people want to up their game. So yeah, I would say it changed the game because you got my man dropping this and other people were, you know, trying to do American accents and, you know, Rick Ross beats and, you know, if you remember that era, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's just how it was, isn't it, back then? And he was just unapologetically British, innit? Yeah. British. That's what he was. He was a Brit.
It made Training Day 1 change the game because it made rappers alright to be vulnerable. It made rappers feel alright to just talk from the heart. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that is why you'll never really get a project like that, because guys will replicate it or try to replicate it, but again, unless you're living through these squally conditions, you're not really gonna get it.
You know them dark periods, like I was listening to it for like 2 years, 3 years, throughout man's dark periods in man's life, 16 and that, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, that was just, I'd say that was a norm that I grew up to. When he came out in 2020, my nigga, that honestly, I believe put on where rap is today.
Yeah, 100%, it's a classic, man. Like, it's a classic and it's weird. I played it back on the way here again and it still sounds fresh.
For me, our classic is a classic because I remember obviously 013, I was listening to that and I remember going, I went John early 014 and I was listening to Charlie Sloth, yeah. He used to do the Fire and the Boost and that, innit? And I can't remember what month it was, but I was definitely either 014 or 015 because I was in job both those years. And I remember Potter came on the Fire in the Booth and that. I was saying, yeah, this is cold, man. I heard the Fire in the Booth, I was respecting it still, definitely.
Oh, 100%. Definitely a UK classic. 100,000,000%. It's touched so many people in a even like the younger like people in their 20s to early 32s. Like that's a serious go-to for them.
Yeah, 100%. We're talking about Training Day 1, 10 years down the line. When 2023 came out 013, it's definitely a classic. Obviously, like I said though, my favourite one is number 2. And
110%, bro. 110%. So your man's in jail. Remember, man's seen jail as well. Like, man's preed what CDs the real niggas got. I'm saying, you pre that, you know. Man's in there, man's just chatting to a couple of the G's them, going into their cell room, just seeing, like, what they got in their room? Pre the CDs. What are these man listening to? The G's them. They're actually in it for life, you know what I'm saying? Be surprised, bro. Man, here Potter, niggas are sharing that disc all over, bro.
1,000%. There's a lot of guys that I bump into like on my journeys that will come and stop me and be like, "Raw, bro, you know, you're part of history because you're part of a trilogy that will always be in UK rap forever." You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was nervous when Potter got me on Training Day 2. I'll be honest with you. I didn't feel like I had done enough to warrant that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when you got something so timeless like Training Day 1, people always say like, don't spoil it or don't kind of, you know what I'm saying, not dirty it up, but don't, you know what I'm saying, that this works for a reason. So I will never forget the times after, you know, getting the bird call to do Training Day 2, like, I was shaking, fam. I remember, like, Bim and saying I was shaking. Like, that's how much I loved, like, and you know what I'm saying? And part of me was like, should I just shout Bills or shout Potter and be like, you know what? I don't think I could, you know what I'm saying? Because Training Day 1's fine and Training Day 2 is the next thing, and I don't know if you want, you know what I'm saying?
It has to be too much, yeah, doesn't it?
I'll probably take Conversations with the Fiend only because of the sample as well. Like, for someone like myself, I need something like that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Maybe the misses. I'm thinking like, because you see what it is there. See with Potter's good at storytelling, and I can't lie. Yeah, you see when Potter starts talking about like, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes he feels like he's talking like from the man that's going through like, you know what I'm saying, certain things at home and that. So
Too many years is deep, man. The concepts that he talks about in that tune, like, man can relate to his shit still.
Probably like Arse in My Heels, just because I like how that beat, I think the beat's quite open, you get it? It's a nice little bounce.
I feel like Purple Rain, when he mentions, you know, I don't hate my father, I just wish he was around more. I think that lyric kind of hit me in the chest as well, because like 2013, that's when I lost my father. So yeah, I feel that lyric kind of just hit me in the chest. And obviously, I love my father to the END, but hearing, just every time I hear that bar, for some reason, just kind of triggers a memory. I just kind of find it like, yeah, very interesting and profound.
fam, man said trying to cop the drop top, 2 smoking barrels and a lock stock, firing. Grind like, if you grind like I grind and this grind gets tiring, are you mad? Like, man, just hearing that thinking, no, you know what I'm saying? And the truth say, yeah, you know what's so mad? Like, I used to love like old school like Essex movies. So the Craze, obviously Smoking Barrels and Lock Stock, Bonded by Blood. I used to listen to that show, like, nah, this guy's fucking hard. Like, how's he just coming? You know what I'm saying? He's like, he just done his thing with that. So, and that's what he does, like, so sick. Like, his flow and them double entendre.
Remember, obviously his whole thing's raw back in style. He's actually kept it so authentic. You know, as I said, there's never been a point from my memory where I'd say Payper fell off, or dropped a shit song. And obviously to have him here all them years back till now, I don't know, it's like bless him. And it's weird because I feel like he hasn't even started in a weird way.
When I heard that Fire in the Booth, that's one of the clear memories. When I heard the Fire in the Booth, I remember I was with my cellmate I was in Portland at the time, yeah, in Weymouth, and I was with my cellmate, and I was thinking, yeah, like this Potter's doing big things. Obviously, music's come a long way now, so back then that was like, whoa, like I'm not gonna say live on the radio. I'm in John, I'm hearing it live. I'm saying like a Saturday night and that. So from there, I knew that.
He's such an eloquent speaker and a smart person, and I feel like because of his upbringing and the way he's been around and the things he has to deal with, it's always been just a matter of like committing himself to his craft. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like we've all got things that kind of like pull us back or other things or whatever from what we're actually meant to be doing, but Potter's one of the hardest rappers the UK has ever had. He's just a genuine person and he makes great music.
I'll be honest, bro, I really want Potter to answer that, innit? I want him to answer that. Would he think that after dropping Training Day 1 10 years ago, do you think you'd be where you are now? That's what I would say to him. It's not really about what other people think. You know what I'm trying to say? Did we think Potter was going to go jail for that long? No. You know, the scene was flourishing while he was away. He's come back in a very hectic time, in a very competitive time in the scene, and he stands out like a sore thumb. And obviously I stand out too, or like a sore thumb, but I'm a left hand thumb in it. He's a right hand thumb.
Listen, I knew Potter was destined for the success he's having now, because when you meet Potter, you can tell that this isn't a guy that bullshits. He just, what you see is what you get with him. And he takes his craft so serious. Like I've been in the studio with Potter and I just see that this guy just doesn't stop writing. Like little things, like he's one of the only rappers I know that still writes on paper, that has a notepad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and proper like writes his craft, that he writes things down and his things just, you'll just be in the studio for hours on end. A man that works like that, he works like there's no tomorrow. A man that works like that special. It's a generational talent. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, not that I'm trying to do the cocky spoiler prediction thing. I'm not gonna do that. But I think everyone around him knew how special he was. You know, so yeah, it was written. It was written for him.
Yeah, bro, man. Hats off to Potter, bro. My man's done his thing, bro.